All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the Awaken to Happiness Now global series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And if you are new to my show, new to my channel on YouTube, please do subscribe so that you can take advantage of all the current shows and coming up, plus all the previous shows. There's some wonderful, wonderful information and clearings and healings and activations, etc. So it is my deepest wish, desire, and intention to bring forward for you these wonderful speakers who are sharing their wisdom, their teachings, their experiences, their transmissions and activations and healings so that we can all thrive and so that we can all awaken to happiness now. That happiness is within us, right? And we can access it and receive it and live in that joy and in that state of connection with spirit. Right. So today, this is the first time that this guest is with us. I'm so excited. So Catherine OConnor is here with us, and we're going to be talking about authentic visibility, stepping into the spotlight and be deeply nourished, impact, income, and connections. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about developing a secure sense of self, which enables you to create that which is aligned and perfect for you. And you may discover that you are powerful beyond measure. And I will tell you, you are powerful beyond measure. We tend to limit ourselves a bit. And through anchoring your authentic self, you open the doors to empowered speech, thoughts, and action. The higher mind is a natural state of being. Thus, you access your ability to naturally create an abundance of nourishing resources like money, inspiring relationships, success, and time with your loved ones. And through connecting with your heart, you will act with potency and love, upholding the integrity of your values. Common fears and the root of these fears that may prevent you from being authentically visible to yourself, others, and the multiverse. We're going to talk about that as well. Catherine is going to be taking some live caller questions, and of course, she will be doing a transmission. We are already receiving energies. They're already flowing. So some of you may be already perceiving that. I already started perceiving that before the call started. So it's all good. Just be willing to receive, stay connected, stay grounded, stay in your heart space, right? And so for those of you who don't know Catherine, like I said, this is the first time that she is on the show with us. But you may know her, of course, already. Catherine is a sacred architect and channel of infinite knowledge and divine love magic, working with sensitives, creators, healers, leaders, and change makers who want to connect to their truth, amplify their mastery, bring their unique voice forward. And she creates sacred, committed, nourishing environments, deactivating separation patterns to expansive, multidimensional, authentic self-expressions, empowering efficient, light-embodied connections, impact, and resources, integrating psychotherapeutic understanding with a refined connection to Thoth, aligning and activating an experiential sense of the inner God-Goddess. Catherine has a postgraduate diploma in drama and in child mental health, a certification in quantum light, training in Arcturian healing, aromatherapy, spontaneity, yoga, anthroposophy, and psychodrama. Catherine loves the ocean, mountains, and forests. She has 3 grown children and continues to enjoy spending time with each of them. Oh, I love that. So please join me, everyone, in welcoming Catherine to the show for the first time. Probably not the last time, but for the first time. So Catherine, I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here. And thank you for such a lovely welcome.
Well, I'm so excited because, like I said, it's your first time. And so your energy is beautiful. I love it already. I love what you're doing. I love your transmissions, the work that you're doing in the world. And so it's a privilege, for me as well to have you here on the show. So I'm so glad. I mentioned at the beginning, we are going to be taking live caller questions. So if you would like to work with Catherine or ask Catherine a question, you can raise your hand. Or maybe you can type your question in the chat as well. And so, Catherine, because it's the first time that you're here with us, can you just take a few moments and tell us about your journey, your healing journey, your expansion journey to who you are now?
Yes, absolutely. So I think my journey began when I was very young. I remember I was brought up Catholic, and very not the kind of fire and brimstone Catholic, more the loving Catholic. So I was very fortunate in that way. So I had a very deep connection to Yeshua and Mother Mary through my family. Yeah, and I really remember my journey starting when I was about 7. And from there, I think it started very early with a question like, why am I different? Like, what makes, I was obviously different, and why? And then through that process, I found myself in my early 20s doing a diploma in drama. And through that process, I really opened up into the spiritual world and into more of a inward journey, a therapeutic kind of like discovering what makes me tick through really traditional methods like psychotherapy and body work, a lot of body work, and sort of touched on some of the more esoteric things like, crystals, etc., meditation. I started getting into that. And then I had a very traditional time. Was a full-time mum for quite a few years after I had my own practice as a counselor. And then in that process, I did a lot of deep dive study, a lot of internal work for myself. Again, using the same modalities I discovered in my 20s. About 2012, I had a major change in my life. I lost I lost everything that was important to me in that time, and that really put me onto this kind of new path of really everything I'd used as tools for healing until that time. Suddenly, they weren't enough. They weren't what I was needing at the time. And that took me into more deeply into the spiritual world, into discovering my connection to my guides, aligning to my connection to Thoth, which I'd always been. I went on reflection, Thoth had always been in my life. I just hadn't recognized that who it was, or that there was a being such as Thoth. So that's really how I came to be doing what I am doing now. And I like to dive really deep. I do tend to dive deep into something, and I kind of really follow that through and continue to follow that through. And so that deep dive began in 2017. And really, and what I'm finding now is I'm starting to bring in a lot of so the work that I was doing in my 20s really provided me with a really strong foundation for what I do now. And that strong foundation in psychotherapy and drama and spontaneity and body work and all the healing modalities that I explored in those 20 years are now sort of integrating back into more of the channeling that I now do. So it's coming together in a really beautiful way, I find. So that's been my personal journey. And yes, there have been many, many dark nights of the soul. And I think the biggest one was 2012.
Oh,
So,
thank you. And 2012, around that time, it was a big catalyst for a lot of people, wasn't it?
it was a huge catalyst. Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah. I think
I
a
think,
lot of
yeah,
people talk about time as being a big change. And a lot of books came out at that time. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That
absolutely. Yeah,
1987 and 2012. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. For me, it was the closer to the 2012, and like I started this show in 2013, so I started changing, and my outlook and my choices started changing before, of course. But 2012 is really when I started on this path, right? So really
Yeah.
pivotal time. So let's so I was telling everybody before, right? So we are already receiving transmissions, downloads, frequencies, high vibe energies. So I'm starting to at least
Mm.
now integrate them, and so I've settled, right? So I can tell that I'm settling. But throughout this show, throughout the call, we are going to be receiving these energetic frequencies to help us up level, and to help us just to our topic is about authentic visibility, right? So to be visibly authentic, am I right?
Yes, exactly. 100%. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So can we just talk a little bit about that? I mean, let's face it, the word authentic, it has been used in our industry a lot. Right. So what does authentic visibility mean to you?
Yeah, it's so beautiful. I mean, authenticity really is, I guess it's my central core message that I bring, and it has been, for my whole life. And yes, it's a very, 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 very well used, perhaps overused word. And I personally have thought about, like, is there some other way to describe this? And I keep coming back to the word. So essentially, being authentic is being true, is being ourselves. Now, one of the keys to being ourselves is to really have a good relationship with ourselves and to know who we are. And that's kind of warts and all. And at the very core of who we truly are is our divine self. Our essential essence is divine. It is an aspect. It is perhaps what some people call as the spark of the divine, an aspect of the divine. And we all have, I think, like a tonality, a particular signature essence that is truly who we are. And being able to tap into that and access that is vital for us really standing in our truth and our power. The way in which authenticity can kind of show itself is that we're able to, it really is around, for me, having a really strong relationship to ourselves and then being able to articulate our truth, articulate our values, articulate what it is that we need and we desire, stand in a place of openness and be willing to be both strong and vulnerable, being loving and powerful, being thoughtful and truthful, having that ability to really resonate at the frequency which is truly who we are. And each individual is different. Like no two individuals are the same, and we're not meant to be. And it's through that process of coming into a deep relationship with who we truly are that we can then start to listen to our own inner guidance, our own inner wisdom, and tune into our own kind of compass and find our true north. And it's in that process of finding our true north that we naturally know where we're heading. And when we naturally know where we're heading and willing to be visible with that to ourselves initially, and then, to others in the multiverse, that we start to both be able to call in that which we need to, so are able, it's also through the action steps that then also calls in that which we require. So, people then talk about synchronicity. Well, I see synchronicity as just being natural. It's natural. I don't see it as like an unusual thing. It's what happens when we actually we step into that space of who we truly are. And like, there's so much that could be said. And then the other piece that again is very, very commonly talked about is what can stand in the way of accessing that authenticity are the experiences that we have had through this lifetime, other lifetimes, right through to our original birth from source. That become kind of like, they become shadows or clouds that make it a little bit more challenging for us to really recognize who it is that we are, and then what we need and what we want to say and what our message is and what our purpose is and all the things. And it then becomes harder for others to see us. And when others don't see us, then that also creates a sense of being misunderstood, of not being seen, of feeling like the relationship's not working, or my boss doesn't get me, and it's really does come back to ourselves. It comes back to knowing ourselves and shifting some of those layers. So knowing that, shifting them, sending to the light, or transmuting them. Yeah, I could keep talking, but I feel like this is a good place just to pause to give you a chance to ask a question, deepen a bit more into something that's resonating.
We always have questions. And so for me, knowing yourself is not necessarily always just about knowing the personality self or knowing your thoughts, all that kind of stuff. It's more about knowing who the true essence of you is and connecting to that and feeling into, I'm a feeler, so feeling into that, right? And at the same time,
Yeah.
knowing that a lot of times the things that we think and the beliefs that we have are not really valid and true for us, right? There are things that we've picked up along the way, conditioning, blah, 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 all that stuff. We've talked about that a million times. But
Mm,
underneath all that, who am I? Right? Underneath
mm,
all that, who, like, what is important for me, and what do I value, et cetera, right? And
mhm.
as a being of light, as a child of God, or as an expression of source, who am I? What am I? Right? It's not always those the things that we've picked up from society and our parents, etc. It's deeper, right?
It's much deeper. It's much deeper. It's finding that core essence of who we are, and that core essence of who we are. So there are energies coming in for each individual around us. So I'm also holding these energies as they come in. So that core essence is what is that sense of self that we received, or that divine spark,
Mhm.
that pure divinity, that pure divine spark that we received as we were birthed from source. Now, many individuals talk about separation from source, and I personally, well, I've been guided to reframe it as a birth from source, because that's essentially what it is. And it's at that point that a lot of the energies, so when we're working together, and there's a little bit of this coming through, not just a touch of it coming through for individuals to get a sense of, is that when it is possible when working together to call in that original experience of being birthed from source, and in that process call in the essence of who it is that you are. And it's calling in the essence of who you are and amplifying that gives you the access point to touch in on and get to know who you truly are at that core sense of self. And once and accessing that core sense of self, the illusions or the unconscious patterns become more visible, and also become more almost nonsensical. They don't make sense anymore. And so they're easier to both see and to also just shift beyond.
Mhm.
So I always like to think, like, to tap into that real core essence is such a magical place and such a strengthening place. That's
Yeah,
making sense.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so we're I want to talk about, that developing that sense of self, and it's not really developing, it's really more like tapping into, connecting into, recognizing,
Mm.
right? That
Mhm.
sense of self that you are. But when you can do that, then you're right, you can then create what is aligned for you and perfect for you, right? But how can people, because people always have that question, how do I know what's aligned for me, and how do I create my life in that, aligned and perfect way, right? A lot of people get really caught up in it and make it more difficult than it needs to be, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think if I could have like a frustration point, that would be it. So this is not complicated, and it can get, like, the mind can make it really complicated. Like, am I on my soul path? Am I
Yeah,
doing the right thing? Okay, so for a start, you can't not be on your soul path, and I'm not the first person to have said that, or to have channeled that. Okay, so so you are all on your soul path. That's a given.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
O-
I
Okay, there we
agree
go. So
totally.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you can let go of any of the like searching, or am I, what is my soul path? What is my purpose? You can let that go because you actually are living it already. Okay, and it's also, and then the next question is like, so what's my, where am I on this path? So energies are coming in to support you to ground that in, like, actually, like, where am I? What is the isness of it? Where am I at? Okay, so there we go. So this is where I am. And that is that's such a vital piece. And it's also, it can be really challenging to face into, okay, this is where I am. This is where I'm at. And that's perfect. And then to open your heart to embrace yourself in this place of asness, like where you are at right now, and open your heart to yourself and know that that is perfect. Like where you are right now is 100% aligned. It's 100% perfect. And to recognize that and open your heart to yourself and exactly where you are now. Whether that's in a state of grief, whether it's in a state of frustration, whether it's a state of pure bliss, whether it feels kind of 100% aligned, or whether it feels like there needs to be some small shifts to bring you back into a greater state of joy and peace. There we go. So there's a lot of kind of energy of stillness coming in. Ooh, okay. And then the next piece, and again, I'm not the first person to have said this, is like, what is it that you require in this now moment that will support you both with where you're at and the next kind of level of evolution that your soul is calling for? Okay. Oh, and okay, yeah. And so some of you will be receiving like little light bulbs, like little kind of senses. Oh, okay, this is what I require to support me right now. And then from there,
I don't know if you
comes
can
that
hear that.
natural.
We have thunder and lightning
No,
happening. Hopefully you can hear me okay and not hearing the thunder and lightning.
no, I can hear you okay.
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay, I'll leave it at that. The next piece was just to open to what is the next natural step.
And
Okay, so this is like going back. That's good. Yep. Keep going.
this piece alone that you just shared with us, and it's not just verbal, mental, it's also experiential, right? But as you accept where you're at and that this is where I'm at right now, that gives you so much peace in itself, because then you're not fighting with yourself, right? And then if you can ask from that place of acceptance of what is, what's my next step, right? Or asking for the resources for the next step, it's a much more expansive space and place to communicate from, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a much more expansive place. Yeah. Yeah. And part of that expansiveness can be tapping into other realms of consciousness or other places and spaces in which you reside, which is often termed multidimensionality. Because yes, sitting with yourself enables you to expand into more of who you are as well. So it has many kind of many beautiful experiences that can come with that process. Because also as well, there is this divine essence, and then there are also these other dimensional aspects of ourselves that provide us with so much energy, frequency, knowledge, and support. Yeah.
Absolutely. And for that, you need to be still, and you need to be in that state of just being and acceptance of what is. I'm a big proponent of accepting what is. That's the only way you can change anything moving forward.
It is. It is.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, once you are starting to accept yourself, being authentic, being real with yourself, true to yourself, and recognizing those moments when you are, and also recognizing when those moments that you're not, right? Then it's much easier to ground yourself back, to anchor yourself back into that space and that state, into that authentic self that you truly are.
Yes, it is. It is. Yeah. And so, yeah, yes, absolutely, 100%. So as you come into that sense of who you truly are, like as you deepen into the as-isness of this is where I'm at, that does automatically ground you. And then it's a chicken and egg, because part of being able to really deepen into where am I and who am I, where am I on my journey, being kind of connected to the Earth Star supports that process as well. And like a little footnote is that the Earth Star is always available to provide supporting energies to help you connect to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what I was going to ask you about was, when we are being our authentic self, when we are embodying that state of
Mm.
authenticity, um, how then can we, not how, but that is when we are truly able to access all of the resources that are available to us, right? Such as our
That's right.
guides,
Yeah.
our higher self, and like other resources like uh, support, etc. Right?
Yeah. So so I'm just going to let Toth. Is it okay? Like Toth is quite present. Someone's actually asked a question, who is Toth? So
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
kind of feels okay. So there's a little bit of light which is going to come through first. So Tina atai ita dana ashaka akane tia akai. So welcome all of you to this beautiful call. It is with much grace and pleasure that I step forward with Catherine. So this is a co-creation, and I'm about 50% in, and she's about 50% here as well. So we would like to deepen into the question that was just asked in terms of power and potency and accessing all of those resources as you deepen into your true self. Now, we're just going to wind back a little bit because there is a question that says, who is Toth? So I am the often known as the holder of the Akashic records of infinite knowledge. In essence, I am a light being in light, and I come in through many channels, and through this channel in particular at this moment, to express more of the truth of living both living a high dimensional life on the Earth Star, and activating the keys and codes within you that are essentially aligned to you, that are resonant with who it is that you truly are. I am the holder of infinite wisdom, infinite knowledge through the field of Akasha and more. And I have been physically present on the Earth Star in a number of different epochs, and we'll do so again. Tina ataya tita aka akane tita aka. So when you step into your truth of who you are, when you access that core essence of who you are and begin to embody it, and when I say embody it, I mean that you embody your values, that you embody your sense of love, that you embody compassion, that you embody your divine essence, and you connect this with your multidimensionality. So you connect it with your galactic self or your cosmic dimensions in which you reside. This embodiment of these frequencies, this embodiment of these aspects of yourself naturally supports you to remain grounded and connected to the Earth Star. Now, it is through being connected to the Earth Star that you're able to bring through the creations and the creativity and the visions that you naturally carry within you. Now, those visions that you naturally carry within you are often encoded in the desires or the passions that you have, the passions that you might have had as a child, the passions that you have now. Through the process of embodying all of who you are, and this is the shadow as well as the light, that brings forth that ability within you to truly create from an act of empowerment, of being potent. Tina ata aka, there is so much that we could say, and we're tina ata aka, we're tuning into what's going to be most aligned and useful for each of you. Tina atitara na ashita aka aka netia. So the most aligned thing that each of you is asking for is really to let you know that you are on your soul path. There we go. Okay, that you are multidimensional, that you can access these cosmic frequencies. And these cosmic frequencies will support you to become more embodied on the Earth star. And as you become more embodied on the Earth star, you're then able to create that which you deeply desire to create, that which is in your heart. And through creating that which is in your heart, you will discover that you have the magic inside you to do so. And it is wonderful and beautiful that so many of you have deepened into that which is unconscious, that which is the shadow aspects, and done a lot of release and clearing. And we would say that now is the time to embrace the potency that you carry within you, to embrace the light that you carry within you, and know that this will carry you forward. And that as many of you have done a lot of the clearing work, now is the time to embrace the light. And to embrace the light can be as challenging as to reveal the dark. So we encourage each of you to begin to step into the light of who you are, into the potency of who you are, and embrace that true essence, and know that coming from this place and knowing that you carry these codes of truth, that you carry the empowered vision within. And it is revealing that to yourself, that which you deeply desire, and following the course of action that will bring you into that sense of true empowered state of being that is both love and wisdom and higher consciousness. And yes, you will continue to meet shadow aspects. You will continue to meet that which is unconscious and that which needs to come into the light. But we encourage you in this time of your lives to start to anchor in the truth that you are powerful, that you have the magic within, and that you can create these visions and these deep desires simply by being yourself. Tina ataya ti aka aka ne tita rana she tita aka na hatai kia. So the keys and codes that drop in through light language are Tina ata aka aka ne tita aka aka ne tia, what we call inata aka aka ne tia, kind of visibility, like codes of love and compassion. Tina aka aka ne tia. And yes, and that's that question. Toth is pronounced many ways and spelt many ways. So yes, it'll be the same person.
Beautiful, thank you. And I know other people are feeling a lot of energies. I know I was like yawning like crazy. Krista says she was brought to tears during this piece as you were speaking. But yes, they're definitely higher vibration frequencies, and that's why I'm yawning and I can barely keep my eyes open as I'm receiving. So and the thing is, I was listening to everything, but now as I'm talking, it's like I have no idea what you just said. So you'll have to go back and listen, just like I will have to go back and watch and listen. Okay, but just be willing to receive, right? Awesome, thank you. So Catherine, do you want to take some questions just to see where people are at and what kind of questions they may have?
Yes, certainly. I'm very happy to take some questions.
And let's see what is coming up for folks. Yeah, so Tanya, you want to unmute yourself?
Hello, Lara. Hello, Catherine.
Hi.
Hello, Tanya.
Hi.
What's
I
your
had
question,
honor
Tanya?
to have a session with Catherine long time ago.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I recognize.
it was lovely experience. And yeah, Catherine, I would like to ask you a question if you can scan my energy, because during those downloads I feel a lot of pressure in my head. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, or I'm scared of that feeling so much.
Yeah, okay. So the energies are coming in just to support your system to fully receive. And some of what some of the reason that the pressure in your head is that the energies are finding their way in. And so it's really just opening yourself up to fully receive them with ease and grace for all levels of your system. And that does involve for you opening a little bit more of the crown chakra. There we go. So just allowing that to open. And some of what you're right, some of it is around like fear. Like it's almost what I'm actually hearing is and seeing is like fear of being seen. For yeah. So these codes that were coming in were around supporting you to be visibly authentic, because this is the access point that this conversation is pivoting around. So those were the codes that were coming in. And so there is a deep fear within you of, well, what we're picking up. Then you can please let us know if this is 100% aligned and accurate for you. So just take what resonates, as with all channels, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. There we go. So again, and that then takes you into opening your heart even more fully to yourself. How's that resonating?
Yeah, I felt that in my heart, and around my head it's not so much pressure. Thank you so much, Catherine. What do you advise? What kind of only session with you, or also your course is necessary at the moment for me?
Yeah, there are three. So again, what resonates most strongly with your heart, and what I'm also hearing is a one-on-one session would be super. You'd find that super like aligned. That would our senses that would feel really good and juicy to your system, and the group would also be really lovely. But listen to your heart. Listen to what feels really good for you, and choose from that place.
Thank you so much, Catherine.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, Lara.
Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, Tanya. So yes, Tanya was asking about the packages. We will talk about those in just a little while. But Krista, did you have a question? Did you want to unmute yourself?
Hi there.
Go.
I'm sorry
Hi.
about my sound quality because I'm walking my dog right now.
It sounds okay. It's not too bad.
Okay, I just never expect to actually get called on. So when I saw the topic for today's program, I just knew that I needed to be here because I've made a lifelong project of wanting to be invisible and shrink, socially withdrawing, and trying to shrink physically with eating disorders. 3 decades of that. And now that I feel that I have done a ton of healing work and I'm moving into transformation and authenticity and empowerment, I'm wanting to share my learning and my gift working as a therapist. And I've recently gone into private practice half-time. And I feel really blocked around promoting myself to connect with clients. Yeah, I'm having trouble expressing it.
So can you say that last piece again? You're feeling really blocked.
Being willing to be visible enough to connect with clients, to generate clientele.
Okay.
Promoting myself and my business.
Okay, beautiful. And when did you begin your business? When did you put yourself
It'll
on
be a
the?
year. It'll be a year in August that I saw my first private client. I've been working within a system as a school trauma counselor for 7 years, but putting myself out for private practice it has felt very vulnerable.
Okay, so that's very natural. And how have you had clients in the last year? Have you had the
Yeah.
experience?
Yeah, I have
Okay.
about 26 clients, but not coming in regularly enough to really generate the sense that I'm successful and the kind of revenue that I was hoping to.
Okay, beautiful. Okay, so so what I'm hearing, and this is partly why we're asking the questions, is to say that wow, it's the first piece. Like wow. Okay, there we go. Like let's start with celebration. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So three decades of an eating disorder, and I hope that's okay to name it in that way, because it is quite blunt to name it in that way. Deep healing work, deep transformation, finding your feet, finding an aligned kind of place and space in which you can share your gifts and your own lifelong experience, and then moving into private practice. I mean, I'm like me personally, and the guide are going like, wow, this is celebration and clients and what in your first year. Wow. Like celebration codes all round. Okay.
Okay. I received that. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that's your first piece. There we go. Okay. So Tina ata ita aka akene ti aka akene tia, and celebration. You've placed yourself on the altar here, and brought yourself very visibly forward, and be very willing to answer the questions in a very straightforward and simple manner. Tina ashika aka aka akene tia. That's clarity. That's visibility. Tina ata aka akene tia. So the next piece that your system is asking for is empowerment. That sense of being like in the driver's seat, 100%.
Yes.
Tina
Yes.
ata aka akane tita aka, owning your owning your authority in this place and space that you occupy. Tina ata aka akane tia ashika aka as a therapist in private practice. Tina atita aka akane titi aka, knowing without doubt that clients tina ashika aka akane tia who are aligned to be in your sphere. Tina ashika aka akane tia aka akane tia are there. They're naturally there. They're meant to be there. Na ashika aka, that you have the gifts. Na ashiki aka, and the keys and codes to unlock within them what they deeply desire and need to have unlocked. Na ashika aka, so they can move forward in their lives in the way that you have moved forward in your life. Tina ashika aka akane ti ki aka akane tia, and anchoring all of this into your system. Tina ashikina atata aka akane tita aka akane tia, and just inviting your system to pick up these empowerment codes. Tina ashika aka akane tita aka akane tia, and part of the access point for you for that is to ashika aka aka, celebrate and open your heart to that which you have created. Ti ashanata aka akane tia.
Thank you.
That is a pleasure.
Beautiful. Can I ask the guides one more question?
Yes.
I feel very drawn to working with psychedelic. And I was told that plant medicine is very close to me, or something like that, that it's something I'm holding in my field. And I don't know if I'm just doing that because I have a cognitive curiosity and interest, or if that's a spirit calling, if that's really aligned for me.
Okay. All right. Okay. Tina ashika aka aka. That's a very challenging question. Tina ashika aka aka ne tita ashika aka aka ne tita aka aka ne tia. So plant medicine is this has been channeled. Plant medicine is a very, very sacred rite of passage. Tina ashita aka aka ne tia, howled na ashika aka aka ne tita aka aka ne tia. So what's happening is that in the palm of my hand, na ashaka aka aka netia, is the plant medicine and the sacred right, na ashatita aka aka, that plant medicine is. Tina ashatita aka aka netita ra na ashaka aka aka netia. If you hold it, na atita aka aka netia, sha'aka, in full divine knowing of the potency and the power of this plant. Ina ata ake, and its sacred lineage, na ashatita ake, which you do have access to. You do have a lineage line, like a divine lineage line in that form.
Okay.
Then that is aligned and fine. It is a choice. So don't feel that it's something that you have to do or that you don't have to do. It is a choice. But what they're saying is that, like, hold it as a truly divine, sacred act or sacred ritual, sacred plant that it is. And part of what's happening is I'm channeling is that energy of that medicinal plant is coming through, and it's coming through specifically for you and for anyone in the group who it's aligned to receive. There we go. So yeah, the way they've done that is they've poured it into my system, into my hand, so that I can then kind of just gift it to you. So that's what I'm doing right now, is just gifting it to you. And if you'd like to pick it up, it's here to pick up. There we go. So the answer is essentially yes. If you feel really drawn to it, that's totally 100% aligned. And it's not just your curiosity.
Okay. Thank you. I will prepare to receive it.
Beautiful. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Krista. Good luck.
Okay, so I'm just also just going to open the field. If it's okay, just take a moment just to open the field and just allow anything that's coming through for each individual in the call. Because sometimes when someone brings something through, it's for more than just them that they're asking. There we go. Okay, beautiful. That's
Absolutely.
that's complete.
But what Krista just brought forward was like, when we have a desire, when we have a calling to, like, oh, I feel like doing this, usually 99% of the time it is accurate, it's valid for you, right? It's there for a reason, right? But I always say, well, where are you coming from? What is your intention? Like, is it for you? Is it to serve? Like, whatever, just know what that is, right? So, like, I don't have that desire, right? So even though you brought it through, it's like, yeah, I don't have that. So it's definitely not for me, right? So I don't have that desire, but somebody else may. And so if you do, then I always say take baby steps, do research, see how you continue to feel, take one course, see how you feel, and then go from there. Like, like it takes 100 steps, right? You can't go from 0 to 100 in one step, right? So I always say just feel into it, see how it feels for you. Does it feel good? Then start taking steps and see where you go. But and I was asking, is this in alignment with who I am right now? Is a great question, right?
It's a beautiful question. Yeah, no, I love what you've brought forward. Absolutely. Yeah, all of that. Yeah. Is it aligned for me right now? What is the next right step? Yeah, what more do I need to know about this? Who can I talk to about it?
And then trust, also trusting, right? Trusting. So, but yeah, thank you for that, Krista. And yeah, you're doing great. Keep going. Right? Keep moving forward. And the thing is, like, she was doubting, but she already has clients, right? So yes, there may not be as many as she wants, but she's still visible. She's still doing the work, right? Maybe it just needs to, I don't know, that maybe this call, this energy, these frequencies are going to help her to just really embody more of that, right?
Absolutely. And really, the guides were really pointing to how much celebrating and really acknowledging where we're at and where you're at and how much you have done serves, it fills you up and also serves for the next piece, so that then you expand even more. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, Casey, you want to unmute yourself, Casey?
Huh. Oh, okay. Took a bit of doing. Thank you.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Catherine. So nice to meet you. This has been so
Lovely to meet you, Casey.
Thank you. God, I was going to ask about my relationship with my sister, but now I'm feeling maybe to ask about there is a light that sometimes comes in, and there are prisms that have hanging on the window, and when the sun comes through, kind of bends the light at times, and it creates like a rainbow in different places depending on the sun and whatever's happening, you know, it those shiny colors, little rainbow colors in the kitchen, on the wall, on different things. And I was wondering if there's any message, anything that Spirit has to say. Before that, I went in, and it's usually just one place, but I think the dishwasher door was open. Somehow it created a break in it, so there were two images, and I put my hands over them, and it kind of felt like, you know, a heat or an energy, and I stayed there for a while, and, you know, I just was open to receive it. So I don't know, was I imagining it? Was that something? Is there anything with the light? I have my own ideas, but I want to see what you have to say. What Spirit says.
I hear that. What are your ideas? What's your sense of what it's about?
Well, when my partner was alive, he was very into art and color and lights like that. And he was very intrigued. And he put this, I think it's this one crystal, actually. It's in the shape of a heart. It's Austrian crystal, so it has, you know, the different facets create the prism. And he would point out to me, look how it's over here on the wall, and look at that. It's from, you know, the light coming in and bending. And he would always point it out to me when you were around. So since he passed, I always took it as a message of him saying hi to me or trying to send me some love or something.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. So that you answering that question opened the field. So the answer is yes. And it's bringing in, well, right now it's bringing in frequencies from the galactic planes or the cosmic planes. So it's assisting you to open to these other dimensions. And he's supporting that process of assisting you to open to these cosmic dimensions, these cosmic frequencies, and ultimately these divine frequencies. Tina atai aka aka neti. When you place your hands around it, you are receiving the energies and the codes from the multidimensional planes or from the cosmic planes. And in recognizing that he is a part of this process and supporting this process opens you even more to the divine frequencies that are aligned for you, that are resonant with who you are. And that also is supporting each individual in this call to receive these frequencies as well. And so when you do feel the heat, yes, you are feeling the opening to these energies. And part of you asking this question is to support your waking consciousness to feel relaxed about this and to become aware of it. And it's becoming aware of it that then also supports you to receive even more from this beautiful prisms of light. Tina ataya, tita aka aka netiai. And they are sacred geometries. As the prism creates these is a sacred geometry in itself that amplifies the frequencies that are naturally in the cosmos and bring them directly to you. Does that answer your question, Casey?
I'm feeling it in my hands again, and I was, you know, when you were speaking, the transmission of light language and everything. Yeah. Is there anything else I should do to enhance this or augment it, or I'm at a loss for words?
The biggest piece is the biggest piece is awareness, like consciousness that it's happening. And no, you don't need to do anything more than you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can meditate.
I always think of it as a blessing. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
Catherine,
no, it's beautiful.
Right. I always think of it as a blessing whenever I see light, like rainbows and things like that on the walls, whatever. I
Mhm.
always think of it as a blessing, as from my guides or the angels, just giving me a little bit to remember who I am, remember where I am. Sometimes I'm in my head a lot, so it just brings me back to my heart space in that moment.
Yeah, okay. Can I ask, sometimes I think I hear my partner speaking to me. And I'm not sure, I think maybe sometimes he is, but sometimes it's my mind.
So
Well,
something like that you
90% of
might
the time.
want to,
Uh-huh.
sorry, Catherine, I was just gonna say something like that you might want
Oh.
to have a personal session with Catherine, just so you can go deeper into it and connect more, more fully. I would suggest, right? Because mediumship and channeling, we do sometimes tend to connect with loved ones who have passed and can give you more concrete information. I was going to say direct information. But yeah, what do you think, Catherine?
No, I think absolutely. I think trust your own intuition. If you intuitively feel like it's your husband, then it probably is. And yes, a one-on-one session is a great way to go deeper into it. That a lot of the work I do is around supporting you to come into a sense of your true self. So as opposed to doing mediumship, which I don't really do a lot of, unless someone has recently passed and they do step in, I'm really happy to bring through some form of a message, but it's not directly what I do. That makes sense.
Yes, definitely. Well, I love your light language and your messages. Right? Thank you so much. It's been wonderful.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure.
Pleasure here. Much love.
Thank you, Casey.
Blessings. Love and blessings to you both. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm still feeling so much heat, to be honest. It's like it's what is
I
going
know.
on?
There's a lot of energy coming in, and
Yeah.
to share with you to give some context. I did a short meditation, a few hours before this call, and the Galactic Council were like straight in, like we're coming in here. So there is a lot of energy.
Definitely feeling it. So there was a question in the chat, I'm not sure if you saw it, from Linda. And she said, as we dive into our magic, our gift, and our joy, how might we align, maintain, and receive the beauty of the light in its full glory as we embody, anchor, and resonate it fully within and without for all? I feel like I'm missing an in-between point to fully accomplish this.
As we dive into our magic, our gifts, and our joy, how might we align, maintain, and receive the beauty of the light in its full glory? Okay, so the first piece is so as you dive into your magic and into your gifts and into your joy, that will align and maintain the light. You will receive the beauty of the light in its full glory as you do that more and more. Then the piece is as we embody, anchor, and resonate this light fully, within and without. So that's this is the kind of like the big picture of where we're all at and what we're all doing in essence. And it's beautiful that you're so on track with it and understand it. And then the piece, I feel like I'm missing an in-between point to fully accomplish this. Okay. All right, so let's just look into that. Tina atai tia aka aka ne tia, and for each individual who it's aligned to receive anything from Linda's question, Naasa tita aka, we just invite you to receive that which you're here to receive. Naasa tita aka aka ne tita aka aka ne tia. Okay, so Linda in particular, well, specifically, it's not so much that you're, well, what I'm seeing and some of what could be unveiled is it's not so much that you're missing anything, it's more around, there we go, just shifting into knowing that you are living, there you go. So shifting into knowing that as you express that which you're here to express in the world, that you are naturally embodying the light. So tina ata aka aka ne tia, so tia asha aka, so very similar to one of our earlier speakers, is embrace celebration, embrace all that you have been up to and all that you do, And through that embracing and that celebration, be open to receive fully these codes of embodiment, of embodying that which you receive and embodying that which you transmit or give out and express in the world. So it's that process of truly opening your heart to celebrating all that you are up to and where you're at in your journey, and just releasing any of the self-doubt or the sense of I'm not quite good enough, or I haven't quite done it yet, and I'm still about to really do it and kind of crack that last code. You've cracked it. There we go. And fully receiving you as you. And that then starts to bring in some of the so maybe some of the shadow, the clouds that are still holding, that are still covering you a little bit from being fully visible to others. So inviting any of those to shift for any of those individuals who are on this call, listening now or in the future. Any of those veils that may be like clouds or shadows that support, that making it more challenging for others to truly see you, or for you to step in and show yourself to others in the multiverse. There we go. There we go. So some of that is shifting for individuals on the call as well as for you, Linda.
Awesome. Thank you. Let us know how that resonates with you, Linda. How are you feeling? Okay. And, unfortunately, a lot of people have that feeling like they're missing something, that they're lacking something, or that they're doing something wrong, right? Or that they're not worthy or not good enough, and it's like, that is still so in our world, unfortunately. But I don't, for me, it's like, it's not true. Whenever I do sometimes get those feelings too, or those thoughts, they come into my head. I'm like, no, that is not true. Because then I go back and number one, I go back and look at all the things I've done, and I've done a lot. And then it's like, I know when I'm in my heart space, when I tap in, I know that there's nothing I can't do if I set my mind to it, if I set my heart to it. There's nothing I can't do. So no, these thoughts are part of the collective and part of conditioning and all that kind of stuff, but they're not relevant and valid for me now. And that's what I sometimes have to tell myself.
Yeah, that's very accurate. That's super accurate. And I mean, it can be helpful to understand that and even go, do some deep healing work around this, or deep alignment work around this, is that many of us, and many of you, have possibly experienced early in childhood or early in life that will be a reflection of past lives and a reflection to that experience, that perception of separation from source, or being born from source, of not being fully seen and heard. Mm-hmm. So what is coming in now in terms of energy is keys and codes that are starting to unlock some of that experience and that perceived experience of not being fully seen and heard as an infant by some of the core caregivers that were in your environment at the time. And that is an essential piece in that supports you to feel really comfortable around where you're at and what you're creating and who you truly are. There we go. So that's shifting for individuals, and then we can also deepen into other lifetimes around that as well. But I feel that that's just a place to begin, to recognize, like with compassion, that these were experiences that you experienced on this Earth star in this lifetime, and possibly in many other lifetimes, and that that's okay. That was an experience. It created perhaps some sense of a, kind of an internal loneliness, or a sense that something's missing. Tina ata aka ake ne tita arana ashaka ake. And the only thing that can be missing is aspects of the self, or a connection to an aspect of yourself. And in that early childhood experience and that infant experience, that comes from being truly seen and heard for who you are. Tina atai ti aka ake ne tita arana ashaka ake. So opening your heart to yourself and allowing any of that experience, or that which came from those experiences that you created, which are illusions, to shift. Tina ata ate tita aka ake ne tia. And anyway, that relates to other lifetimes.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I definitely can relate to that for sure. So we have Rayanya, well, I don't know if I said that name properly, but we have Rayanya and Fred. So Rayanya, you want to unmute yourself? I think you just did.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Catherine. Hi, Lana. You.
Hi.
Yeah, I have a question that I have been receiving a lot of, inspiration or nudges for a lot of new projects, and I would love to be in a space of just really in the flow when I receive the inspiration. Also as a manifesting generator, that sometimes I receive the inspiration or the download, and then there'll be signs that support me, or confirms that, okay, let's do it. And I think also my own internal excitement confirms that. However, I still have some programs running that I would feel that I need to probably make it perfect or professional, or however, like as if that there are programs trying to confine to certain standards. And I would just love to have support to see how can I allow that flow to occur more gracefully without me stopping myself.
Okay, so there's I think the question you're asking is common, like can be quite a common experience. I don't know. I'm going to do no manifesting generators. I don't know a lot about how you operate, if that makes sense. The internal, because there we go. Tina ata aka ake ne tia. So just saying that shifted something inside you. It's like not many people totally understand a manifesting generator. Like you're just to the outside world, you're like, oh my God, wow, how did you do that? So okay, so you're in that kind of zone of so that's some of what's shifting, is going, okay, so there we go. So it's actually being seen for who you are and being recognized for who you are, and knowing that you do have a unique gift and a unique way of operating and being that is really here to make a big, really here to make an impact on the planet. And at some level that can be terrifying, but and then at another level it's exciting. So you've got both running. And then at another level, it's really recognizing that there are going to be people who really get you, and that's amazing. Seek those out. Surround yourself with people who get you, and be really, really seen for the juiciness that you bring into the world. And just there we go. So yes, there are some, and then all those that maybe don't get you, like just know that they will. They're just maybe a bit slower to the party, but they'll get there. Because what you're bringing through is going to be so important and so appreciated. that yes, there are going to be bumps and there are going to be challenges and there are going to be things that you will encounter that are going to like really do your head in and frustrate you. And so as we're speaking, we're shifting things within your system. But know that that you have that capacity within you to keep expanding and to keep going. And that's all you need. It really is all you need. And the kind of the blocks that you might come across, like each time you come across one, just ask it to dissolve. We're dissolving some for you right now. And just continue to ask for it to dissolve. You may want to refer back to this experience of being really seen, because that's kind of what your system is really longing for. It's like one of those golden keys for you.
Yeah. Thank you. I definitely feel something is shifting with all the energy moving and emotions. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm also a manifesting generator as well, so I I get it. I know what it's like. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the confirmation, affirming, and for seeing. And thank you. Much love.
Thank you. Good question. Okay, we're gonna go to the last question. Fred, you want to unmute yourself?
Yes, I have to say that I'm sorry that I, in a sense, missed the meditation because the Zoom call kind of run out of time. And so I thought, let's move out. But then you said certain things that I felt that it was really resonating. And so I feel perhaps I can just bring in what is alive in me. And I feel, let's see whether you can have something to say that is either resonating or not. And so what I feel is that I'm 72, and I've had until my 56th kind of a fluid and flow into kind of a very high state that I couldn't keep. I couldn't, let's say, sustain, perhaps that's the word. And so I felt it was quite a fall, and which I also had to go through kind of a big sadness about that. And in a sense, I feel I also was I was pointed towards my deep history in which my father kind of really was very violent and so didn't see me. And so that's why I couldn't hold it with others. And so I really feel now, in the last 5 years, that I'm reconnecting to people and groups of people in which I find a resonance of the insight I had already then. And now I feel perhaps it was not the time. I wasn't strong enough to have that edge, which is collective consciousness. And I feel that you are connected to that kind of opening up of that collective consciousness. And I'm part of a group, Elizabeth Wood, who speaks of the fact that in the next solstice, kind of collective consciousness is going to be much more available to people. And so I really feel that I'm kind of on the edge of, in a sense, a kind of social return, because I feel I was kind of moved out of my social position. I had my own yoga school, and I kind of lost that touch with. But so whatever comes up for you when I speak, can you connect to it or can you not connect to it?
No, thank you. So I'm just going to let Toth come in. So you're on a path of resolution for that which has been, in order to be present to that which is, and then to open to that which will be. So in this time of contemplation and in this time of recalibration to the new and to that which you have been seeking all your life. You're also releasing some of the, or completing some of the old that brought in the shifting from the yoga school. So there is some past lives that have been part of that process that you are resolving through this. When you speak of moving into collective consciousness, we sense that you are talking about unity consciousness and community, and being in a space of finding that place inside yourself, which we call wholeness, where you have integrated all those dimensional aspects of yourself into a single entity, a single place of unity within, and that that divine spark within you is overshadowed by some of the external experiences that you've had throughout your life. And that part of what you are deepening into at the moment is really amplifying that divine spark and also shifting away some of those layers of consciousness in order to come into a greater sense of wholeness within. And being part of a group or part of a community, as it would be for any individual, is supporting that process for you, because as you come into community, and this applies to each individual here and in humanity, as you come into group consciousness, where individuals are supporting each other and lifting each other up to come into that state of wholeness, that provides you with an anchor point to who you truly are and allows you to be you and only you. As we speak, how is this resonating with you?
Well, let's say most of what you say, kind of, I feel the resonance, but I also, I didn't say collective consciousness, I said galactic. So,
oh, galactic. Okay, that's why they brought in unity, because I heard collective and I was a little confused. So they brought in the word unity. Okay. Okay. So yes, galactic consciousness.
Sorry, and that is really connected to my kind of the Eastern, I call it the Eastern epistemology, is kind of grounded in cosmic consciousness. And I moved up, and I felt I go from heliocentric to galaccentric consciousness, because science has moved up to that bigger field.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tina Ata, okay, so that's the next piece that we would have brought in this call, and it's beautiful that you're bringing it in. Is so we anchor in that sense of kind of higher consciousness in our human form and in that kind of multidimensional form, and part of that process is then anchoring in that authentic self in the galactic consciousness and that cosmic consciousness, and bringing in those cosmic dimensions. And yes, Eastern philosophy is very, very connected, as are all the sacred sites, as are like the Egyptian mythology, the Aztec mythology, Atlantean, all of those are connected to galactic consciousness or to cosmic consciousness. So being able to open into those galactic spaces and places that are resonant with you, where parts of yourself reside, where those cosmic dimensions of yourself reside, connecting to those enables you to bring in the frequencies that are you, but are also aligned to you. And as you open up into that, what we call multidimensionality, or those cosmic galactic dimensions, and start to communicate with those, then you have access to even more of who you are, and even more of those frequencies that are aligned to you, that support you to really ground into this state of being in this physical plane. And from that place, then as you act, you bring in all those light codes, and you that kind of higher vision that you naturally carry within you can then unfold, and then you move into that next paradigm. So that next development from the yoga school, or that next development for each of you, that from where you're at right now. And that is where humanity is. That's the edge that we're on, which I find very exciting. And That's
Wonderful, because there
absolutely.
I resonate deeply, and in a sense I also kind of are in this shift of kind of moving out of kind of my yoga school, but moving into a cultural center that is all about the shift that we are in, which is, let's say, can be worded in many ways, actually in a multicultural way. And so this multiculturality, like the indigenous, do have also that connection with the galactic, with the cosmic. And I'm with a group that is kind of moving into the different civilizations, the planetary civilizations like the Pleiades and the Arcturians, and to see that each of those planets, in a certain sense, the human expresses and evolves in a unique way, and that the Earth has also his own unique way of the human expressing itself and coming to a new phase of evolution. That's
Absolutely.
essence of kind of what my cultural center, which I call the new naturalness, because it is, we reconnect to nature in a multiplicity of ways. Also the indigenous, but also the galactic is natural.
It is
Absolutely.
natural. Absolutely. Each of us has that that connection to a galactic self. And the other aspect that I love and that the guides are loving is like the naturalness, the plant world. So each plant is also galactic. Each like every single being, every sentient being and non-sentient being has galactic dimensions. And so that's another beautiful aspect, is that if you're working with plant medicine, or you're working with the plants, or you're working with rocks and crystals, they have galactic dimensions that you can also tune into, and they can also be an access point to the galactic frequencies. So we're moving into a time where that sense of ourselves as being truly expanded, and that everything around us is truly expanded and truly divine, is becoming more and more resident and more available and more of a normal way of life. And yes, the science world is absolutely catching up. In fact, sometimes the science world brought this forward. Like for some people, that what science brings forward actually opens them to this. So it's like,
Thank you
it's
very
beautiful.
much.
We've got both.
Beautiful.
That's beautiful. So, and I really, I was hearing like the guide saying, this is just a perfect last question, because it's like brought in the piece that has been wanting to be brought in since the very beginning of the call. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Fred. Perfect. Okay, so we will see if there's anything else that we missed, but I just want to take a few minutes and talk about the packages that Catherine has for us. I'm just going to share my screen, Catherine, so give me 1 second to get onto the proper screen here. And then we will just quickly talk about the packages and then see where we are at with what we had planned to talk about. Because I know we always talk about so many different things, and it's basically going with the energy, going with the questions, going with what's flowing, right?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So there are 3 packages that Catherine has. One, package A is the Step into the Spotlight Live 90-minute Masterclass. Package B is Stepping into the Light of You, a 60-minute one-to-one session with Catherine and Todd. And package C is everything in package A and package B. Just really quickly, if you are an Inner Circle member, please do use your gift code. And there is a payment plan available for packages B and C. So Catherine, the first one, the 90-minute masterclass, I know that's coming up in June 20th, right? So do you want to just tell us a little bit about what is happening in this masterclass?
Yeah, so this masterclass will be a development on this call. What we'll be working with is releasing like one of the core visibility fears that you carry, and then anchoring in a sense of confidence in being authentically yourself. So that's essentially the energies we'll be working with. And visibility being, again, like an access point to really accessing that divine you, that sense of who you truly are.
Awesome. So that is
So
June 20th. No, June 21st for us here in the Northern Hemisphere. Right. So,
I think that's the
right.
wrong way round.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're
I'll
right.
get
It's the
those
other way
dates
around.
then. Yeah, it should be the other way around.
So, okay, so I will change the dates and times. You just send me the proper one so that I know
Let's-
exactly which one's right. So June 20th or
that's it.
21st, depending on where you are,
Yes.
right? So that's package A, and
That's
that's $67. And then package B is the 60-minute one-to-one session with Catherine. And so is that a little bit like what we experienced today when you were channeling Toth?
It's a little bit like what we experienced today. We go deeper. There is a 24-hour vortex that goes with that call. And yes, it's whatever is most aligned for you. It's really great to focus on one thing and go deep into one thing is what I find.
And so when you sign up, you'll receive a link, and then you'll be able to book your session. So that's package B is $97. And of course, package C is everything in package A plus everything in package B for $133. And again, like I said, there is a payment plan available for packages B and C. So definitely take advantage of these valuable packages for yourself, and so that you can work more closely with Catherine. All right, so thank you, Catherine. So now, did we cover everything that we were supposed to cover? I want to go back to look at the page to see. I mean, there was just so much, and I'll be honest, like a lot of the times the energies were so strong that I was present, receiving, I was here, but don't ask me what was said. It's like I was just receiving, so I don't know what was said exactly. So this is definitely something that you want to go back and watch and or listen again, because you're going to get more every time you listen, right? So
Yes.
oops, 1 second. So Catherine, what else is there for our listeners to receive from you and Toth, especially around this piece around authentic visibility, around stepping into the spotlight to be deeply nourished in the areas of impact, income, and connections?
Okay. So ina ta ata aka aka netia. So the first point is being authentically visible to yourself. So accessing that essence of the divine you. There we go. So we're keeping this simple. The second piece is then being willing to step into the spotlight and be authentically visible with those around you, family, friends, the multiverse, the world. Part of being authentically visible is accessing that sense of the divine you. Part of being authentically visible is shifting some of those aspects of yourself that are not aligned, that are what we call shadow aspects or unconscious aspects. Some of being authentically visible is accessing the keys and codes which reside within you that may have been turned off. For example, confidence, feeling empowered, having an authentic voice, being able to speak your truth, having clarity of vision, knowing what it is that you are stepping into and where you are going, opening to the divine. Some of that which has been shut down is most easily reawakened through what we call activation. Activation is done often with us through light language. So ta'aka tina atatita aka aka netia activates a code of authenticity in each of you. The next piece is opening to your multidimensionality, to you as a cosmic being, to those dimensions that you naturally resonate with, that you're naturally residing in, that you're naturally operating in. And as you become conscious to those and access those dimensional realities, that brings you into a greater sense of an expanded sense of who you are. And it is from this place, as we spoke with the last question on the call, that as you open up to that, that when you take action, the action that you take is reverberating throughout the multiverse, and then it brings back in dynamic, what you call synchronicities or resources. And those resources can be in terms of people you meet, can be in terms of money that you make, can be in terms of homes or experiences. And that process then enables you to step even more fully into the truth of who you are and start to expand out. This then grounds you. It then enables you to be present on the Earth star. So we often talk about the power of present, being present to yourself, being present to who you are, and expanding out from that place. And as you become even more present on the Earth star and grounded in the Earth star, that opens you to the divine. And what you are beginning to embody is the divine you. And the divine you is unique. You are unique. And in our group call, in our programs, we go back to that original place of birth from source and receive ourselves from that place and incarnate with all of who we are, all that we are. So although this topic of authenticity, of visibility, and often there are also clouds that can cover being authentically visible to others so that people can truly see you. So we're just naming the real key points. But although this topic of authenticity has been spoken about and been around for a long time, it is the key to a life of happiness and a life of feeling fulfilled. Because being you is all that you need to do. It's all that's required. And being you is what brings you all that you deeply desire.
Beautiful. Wow, that is so powerful. That is so, my goodness, so true. Because when you're not visible, you're hiding, you're shrinking, you're limiting yourself. So you don't have access to all of you, and you don't have access to all the resources that are available to live a thriving, joyful, love-filled, happy life, right? The way you just said it just made so much sense. And sometimes we don't even realize where we're limiting ourselves, where we're allowing ourselves to dim our light, and not shining as brightly as who we truly are. There are, many cases where we are not even accepting ourselves as we are. All those judgments and everything, that is what is really preventing us and limiting us from truly being authentic. But not just that, it's like being true to who we are and living as living as the embodiment of the divine, because that is what we truly are. We are the embodiment of the divine if we were willing to receive that. Wow, I just got chills as I said that, because I don't think I've ever truly said that, right? But it's the truth. So, oh my goodness, I've still got chills all over. Yeah, thank you. That was brilliant. So powerful. Oh my goodness. And like, 'cause I had said at the beginning, oh, we've talked about authenticity so much, right? We've talked about visibility so much, but the way that you talked about it today, what you shared today, I'm choked up. I've got tears, because it is like, it is such I hate to be so blunt about this, but when we are hiding ourselves, when we're not being authentic, when we're not being visible, we are basically saying to the divine, putting our hands up and saying, no, keep away, keeping that distance, keeping that separation. But when we're fully able to authentically be visible, we are truly embodying all aspects of the divine if we're willing to receive it. And that is so powerful. And that it's not just a blessing to us, but it's a blessing to our families, it's a blessing to our communities, it's a blessing to the planet and to humanity when we are able to do that. And thank you. This was brilliant. I didn't know I was going to get so emotional. I apologize for that, but this was so powerful. So thank you. Oh, goodness. Okay. I'm usually not speechless. Everybody knows that. I mean, I can always say stuff, right? But this moment has, brought me to tears. So,
Wow.
any other last words of wisdom? Because I don't want to end on me crying. Let's end in it.
Well, it is what you had. So, although you may not want to end on you crying, what you brought forward is so beautiful that it deserves us for the space for it to really land in for you and for each individual. And it is a beautiful testament to your heart and to all that you bring forward, and a beautiful testament to your willingness and ability to receive as you are also giving and transmitting. So we take a sacred pause to allow and to really honor that which you be and that which you do. And to each of you for that which you be and that which you do. Ta'ane tina atai tika aka akene tiai. So we also, as that sacred rite is sort of started to complete, also just bring in a few energies to support each of you to integrate all that you have received from this time together.
Beautiful. Thank you. And I think I said, well, we'll probably have to have her come back. Well, the answer is definitely we'll have to have you come back. I mean, your channeling was brilliant, spot on. The energies that you brought through obviously made a huge transformational difference for everybody who's listening now or who's going to listen and watch on the replay. So thank you. And your connection with Toth is also very, very strong. Yeah, so just, thank you. I'm just so grateful that we got this to work today, and you've just made my life so much better. So thank you. I appreciate you so much. I cry again. So everyone, the recording will be out in a little while. Stay tuned for the email with the recordings, and it'll be on YouTube and the podcast. And of course, please do take this opportunity to work with Catherine in the masterclass or the one-on-one or both. I think for myself, if I can, I don't know, because that timing for the masterclass for me is tricky. So there's something happening around that time, but definitely going to, I'm like sweating now. I'm definitely going to get a one-to-one session so I can work more deeply with you and Toth, so that, I can make a greater difference and be more of myself so that I can support my community more and support humanity more and support the planet more. So I know that is still very much needed. And so I'm definitely going to be doing that with you, Catherine.
Beautiful, wonderful. I really look forward to that. I look forward to meeting each of you again. Tina ata aka 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 netia isha, whether on the higher planes in this call or one-on-one or in the group.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, dear.
And thank you, everybody, for all your questions. Thank you for being here with us and sharing your time and your energy and your love with us. Jill says, I've had many, many sessions with Catherine, and I recommend her so highly. I had no idea, Jill. That's wonderful. You've experienced a beautiful healing gift, and when you have a one-on-one, it is highly experiential. She is so gifted. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, because I had heard about Catherine through Monsef. Monsef introduced me to Catherine, and so we've been trying to have Catherine come on, and sometimes the timing didn't work, but this time it did. So I'm so grateful that that this happened. So yeah, I can definitely foresee a change in my energy just from this call alone, definitely. And yeah, I feel good. I feel good. So thank you so much, everyone. Like I said, the recording will be out in a little while. Usually takes about an hour, so later today. So my goodness, so we'll be back. What day is today? Tuesday. We'll be back Thursday for another show. So I look forward to seeing you then. So until then, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all so much love and blessings always. Bye for now. Thank you, Catherine. Have a great day. I know it's morning there for you, so have a great day.
Thank you very much. I look forward to meeting you again. Ciao.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye.